Today, I want to attempt to answer one question. From a storyline lore perspective, what is the most important Ateez song? I'm going to provide you with a whole smorgasbord of answers to that question, and maybe by the end, you'll see that they're all pretty much the same answer. The first answer is a little bit of a cop-out. The most important songs are the intros and the outros, the beginnings and the ends of each series. So far, this consists of Intro Long Journey, Outro Long Journey, Dear Diary, Outro Over the Horizon, Propaganda, Finwill, and Golden Hour. It's hard to deny the significance of these songs. They have very obvious ties to the lore, and they all have the same narration quality as the diary film, the story trailers, and the diary entries themselves. Each of the intros look to the future, familiarizing us with the themes, subject matter, and key narrative points that will be explored within that series, while the outros look to the past, providing us with a conclusion, highlighting what it is we have learned over the course of the series, while gently opening the door to the next era. The end is the beginning, after all. Together, they provide us with a sort of thesis statement, or an abridged version of every series. Intro Long Journey introduces us to Treasure, both the capital T Treasure, the series, and lowercase t Treasure, the concept, the thing you want and dream about. It establishes Treasure as the defining symbol of Ateez and their voyage. Here, Ateez stands on the precipice of a long journey. They choose to follow their dreams and set off to find their treasure, asking us to join them on this adventure. In Outro Long Journey, Ateez looks around and discovers that they have found their treasure in the shining light that covers them. Ateez has indeed come along for the ride. Dear Diary is an interesting case. It has lyrics that directly parallel Yoseng's Fever 1 diary entry and his diary graphic concept photo description. But I actually see this song predominantly as a parable, a short didactic story that is mostly symbolic, rather than being insertable into the literal narrative of the diary entries. These lyrics introduce the opposing viewpoints of children and adults, which is a central theme of Fever. You could see Dear Diary as a surmised narrative of Fever 1, Ateez coming together, finding each other, and discovering their dreams. You could see it as a conversation between children and adults, a conversation between Old World and New World, the meeting of Hongjun and the man in the black fedora serving as a pivotal set piece of Fever 1. Or you could see Dear Diary as a simplified version of the entire journey, a story about Ateez finding a tinny. With Outro Over the Horizon, Ateez tells us of the trials and tribulations they have faced along their journey, and how, like the sun, they have risen above it. Ready to embark on their next chapter, Ateez now points their attention towards the place where their treasure lies, the world. With Propaganda, Ateez wakes up, opening their eyes to a new world. They recognize the unyielding cruelty of their new dystopian reality and the numbness that endures from cutting off emotion. The audience, the world, is ordered to pay attention to what Ateez has in store for us. A revolution is on the horizon. In Finwill, Ateez explores the whole spectrum of emotion, comparing and contrasting a host of opposites. Emotions that are negative and emotions that are positive. Memories that torment you and memories that lift you up. Falling down and falling in love. Lost and found, fear and laughter, alone and together. Golden Hour expands on this idea of precious treasured memories. As Ateez return to World A, they both literally and figuratively look back upon the past. They ask if the real treasure is not the bright, exciting, rare moments, but rather the quiet mundanity of everyday life. A sense of belonging, of togetherness, being with friends, family, loved ones, a comfort Ateez has lost. Out of all of these, I would probably say that Intro Long Journey carries the most weight since it's the beginning of the beginning of the beginning. The only thing that could compare would be the end, which I hope is a long way off. My next answer is basically a reversal of the first. If treasure is what comes between two opposites, what is found along the journey from A to Z, then actually all of the Ateez songs minus the intros and outros are the most important, because those songs in the middle would represent treasure. We know that in their story, Ateez sees art, dance, music, and the creation of that art as a seminal human experience. That art is your dreams made real. Music is a way to express and understand your emotions. It's a way to connect with others. It's the hand you hold when darkness creeps in. So, in this way, Ateez's music, their music that is actually music, not just talking narration, carries its own significance in relation to the lore. Quite naturally, I think a song named Treasure is going to be important. I see Ateez's concept of treasure sort of like gravity. Treasure is the glue that bonds all of the pieces of the story together. And the song Treasure kicks off a lot of reoccurring motifs we'll see throughout Ateez's discography. Treasure as something everyone is chasing. Treasure as something that blinds you. Treasure as something that calls out your name. Ateez's desire to reach the place they've seen in their dreams, their dream of being idols, their dream to be a star, to be performers, and Ateez's declaration, their promise to never stop, to never end, to search every day and every night for their treasure. Similar to Intro Long Journey, Treasure, as one of their debut title tracks, represents the beginning of Ateez's journey. The music video for Treasure, along with the other content from their debut, takes place in the desert. I go into more detail about this in my Utopia video, but the desert too goes hand in hand with the beginning. Ateez starts out in the desert, in dystopia, alone and far from their treasure. From the very beginning, this song tells us who Ateez are and what their purpose is. I truly, honestly believe there is a very good argument to be made that Aurora is Ateez's most important song. I won't deny I'm quite the evangelist when it comes to Aurora. Catch me on my street corner of the internet, preaching about Aurora like a crazy person. And in my opinion, there's tons of lore-relevant things you can discover within Aurora. Water, sky, mirage stuff, so much color theory stuff, the Utopia tree, the grassy forested garden described in the Worldfin diary entries, flashlights, single eye shots, a transition between day and night, the whole Roman mythology sunrise aspect. But above all, Aurora is a song about treasure. Now, every Ateez song is a song about treasure, but Aurora is pretty damn transparent about it. Almost every single line of this entire song talks about light. I think I would have eventually figured out what treasure was without Aurora, but my god, did Aurora make my life easier. They really lay it out for you. Ateez is the Aurora is the northern or southern polar lights, and light is treasure. Therefore, Ateez is treasure. And even if you don't consciously make that connection, I think emotionally, as a fan, you do. Aurora is a song that makes you feel treasured. It makes you feel loved. It makes you feel like you matter. To be fair, there are a lot of Ateez songs that do a good job at this. The song that makes you feel treasured might be Sunrise, or Star 1117, or One Day at a Time, or Turbulence, or Dreamy Day, or Enough. But Aurora is sort of the original. A very sincere and thoughtful love letter from Hongjun to us. And that awareness of being treasured is, I think, the most valuable thing we gain from analyzing Ateez's content, however you happen to get there. Which brings me to my last answer. The most important Ateez song is your favorite. Because the way you feel when you love a song so much, you just want to scream. How it makes you feel all glowy inside, how it makes your fingertips tingle. The song that completely lights up your life. That passion you have, that fire in your heart, it's treasure. So, if you're asking me, Tiny Bug, what's Ateez's most important song? I would probably say Desire, because that's my favorite song. But your answer might be different. And if I asked every Ateez fan, I would get as many answers as there are songs in their discography. And all of those answers would be right. Because loving something is what makes it treasure.